Hey guys, welcome to another video, and as I promised, I'm going to show you how to make one of these pallet pry bars without using a welder. Now if you missed that video and you have a welder, I'll have that video linked right here. And if you're here to watch this because you don't have a welder, stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to build this step by step and all the material you'll need to build this. First off, you're going to need 2 pry bars. Now this pry bar I have here is 12 3/4 long, and you're going to want to make sure that the back is arced. It'll make everything a lot easier. Next, you'll need a 2x4. Now you need enough 2x4 for the handle and the side pieces. You'll also need some 3/4 material. Now you can also get away with 1/2 inch or even 1/4 inch material. This is going to be used to widen the actual pry bar out. Some heavy gauge screws or leg bolts will be needed. Some 3-inch wood screws. You'll also need some 1 3/4 wood screws with some wood glue. The tools we need are an impact and a drill. Ideally, a bandsaw should be used, but I don't have one, so I'm going to use a jigsaw. And that's about all you'll need to build this. Now let's get started by marking the profile of that pry bar on the 2x4. We're marking this out so the pry bar will have a place to sit. Now you're going to want to make sure that the claws of the actual pry bar are parallel with the end of the 2x4. Now go ahead and cut that out with your bandsaw or jigsaw. And remember, we need 2 of these. So when you're done cutting that first one out, trace it on a piece of 2x4 and cut that out as well. So once you have those 2 cut out, what I did is I just rounded those corners over with some sandpaper just to clean it up a bit. And if all goes well, you should have a profile that matches the pry bar just like this. Now let's bring that 3/4 material onto our bench and mark it out. Now like I said, you can use 3/4 or you can use 1/2 inch. We're only using this to widen out the pry bar. But whatever you have on hand, you can. Now I ripped it down to the same width as the 2x4 because that's what we're going to use for a handle. I then cut it down to match the angle of our pry bar. The next step, we're going to mark out the pivot point of the actual pry bar. You can use anything circular. I ended up using a zip disc for my angle grinder because I felt like that was a good profile. I marked that out on all the pieces and then cut them out. I forgot to mention that you need to cut this profile out on the 2x4 handle. Now the length of that 2x4 handle is preference, so whatever you feel is good. I went ahead and notched that 3/4 material so the pry bar will sit nicely in it. A lot of these pry bars have a notch at the top so you can pull nails out. This is going to be a perfect spot for our leg bolts. So let's go ahead and mark that out and then pre-drill and then fasten those in. Now if you want, you can drill a hole lower down and put another leg bolt through, but I'm not going to in this demonstration. At this point, I decided to make the handle. Now what I did is I found center, and then off that center mark, I marked 1 inch on either side, so I'm going to have a 2-inch handle. Now the handle I'm using is for demonstration purposes only, so that's why it's really rough, and it's a lot shorter than a handle should be. After cutting that out with my jigsaw, I used my router with a 1/2 inch roundover just to round over those edges for a nicer grip. Now it's time for assembly. We're going to grab the 1 3/4 inch and the 3-inch screws as well as the wood glue. Now here I'm just showing you how we're going to assemble this. Now you're definitely going to want to glue all these pieces together. I'm not, because this is just a demonstration on how to build this. Unfortunately, my battery died here, so you don't get to see me screwing around. When that's all done, you'll have something that looks just like this. Now once I finished assembling this, I took my belt sander to the pivot point just to clean up everything. Now the one thing I would add to this is I'd put a bolt through all the pieces. That way it'll make it a lot stronger and it won't cause anything to twist. And there you have it, how to make a pallet pry bar without using a welder. And if you liked this video or you found it was helpful, please hit that like button. As well, don't forget to subscribe because I'll have a lot more videos like this. As well as share this video with your friends. I appreciate you guys watching.